Spears Coffee. Really bucking good.
Hello and welcome to episode 4 of Behind the Buckles, and we call this Circle Talk. Today we have a really special guest coming on, Kathy Grimes. She'll join us here in about 30 minutes. Before that, we're going to do a little recap of the week and talk about what's been going on, and then we'll have a fun interview with Kathy. So here we go. Abby, you're up.
You just told them how fast they can fast forward.
Yeah.
If
If you
Just
just
skip
want to
us.
listen to Kathy, just
Yeah, but
30 minutes in.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's mysterious when she's coming up.
Yeah.
Some of the things, most of my week. First, like personal, we just had baseball and things, but I do have to tell a funny story about Marshall last night. It was raining, so I actually real life cooked dinner, like even the seasonings, nothing from a box. And we sit down at the table to eat, and he takes a bite and he's like, so there's this movie that he loves. It's called The Christmas Chronicles. It's
Yes.
with Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn.
Yeah.
And they're really like fit Mr. and Mrs. Claus. And so
Yeah, they're like superheroes, right?
yeah, and so we sit down at the table and he says, and Mrs. Claus has figured out how to make all of the meals taste like candy and cake, but they're all vegetables. And he looks at me and he's like, so you should probably learn some of Mrs. Claus's recipes. I honestly,
That's actually pretty good.
I actually threatened him at the dinner table. I'm not gonna lie. So that was just like my mom week.
She also didn't tell us that story until we got on, because I think she wanted like our actual reaction. And
Yeah.
usually we text each other about everything.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's Jordan and I didn't have any fights for once putting on the camper until this morning. But it's always kind of the time of year that if you drive by and we're putting on the Capri so we can go rodeoing again, just keep driving. But luckily he got a new camper this year. And so it was actually way easier. And then, one little thing this morning, but I was very impressed. I actually told all my friends how smooth it went.
Yeah.
And
I
so-
wished you luck
I
actually
know.
on the phone yesterday. She said they were putting on the camper. I'm like, oh. good luck.
I'm not gonna lie, with all of your anxiety, my anxiety with that is that somebody ends up squished.
That's
Really don't enjoy that process.
100% the whole
Yeah.
reason that I
Yeah.
worry about it
Yeah.
the whole time anyway. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
But we got it done. And
Yeah.
it was all good. All the dogs are fine. It was good.
Yeah. We had a little bit of a crazy week. We all kind of went different directions, and Jerry and Teal went to Salmon, Idaho to the horse sale. My parents actually came and stayed with Coyle for his junior high rodeo, which he did great at. That was awesome. He had a bunch of fun. And then I went to Salina to the Calgary qualifier. I didn't have as much fun as the rest of my family, but
It was awesome that you went, and
Yeah.
so-
it was better the second day until
Yes.
I found out today that I hit the first barrel because I apparently was unaware.
And I knew that she hit it because she sent me the video, but she was excited with her run, and so I just didn't say anything. And then, because I'm like, it doesn't really matter, And then today she's like, yeah, I just figured out I did that. I'm like, well, maybe I should have brought it up.
I apparently never watched my video either until today because I was like, I looked at the results. I'm like, I did not hit a barrel. And then I'm like, watch my video. Yeah, I sure did hit a barrel actually. So
Speaking of the Calgary qualifier, shout out to Kyle Jack and Julie Herman
absolutely
for putting that event on. Heard
Yeah.
nothing but great things. Watched it.
the ground was great. It ran super fast. The facility was awesome. It was top notch.
That is an amazing event that they put together.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome.
Yes, a couple years ago when I was on the board of the WPRA, Julie had pitched that idea, and it's crazy to see how far it's come with the breakaway and the barrels. So
Yeah.
shout
Yes.
out to them. They
Both
did,
of those.
yes, they did
Yeah.
a great job. And to
Yeah.
have the ground that even to have such a fast
Oh my
horse
gosh.
race is
Oh, and and to
Neat.
bring so many great horses. Yes.
Yeah, that's
good
and
job.
it was just I mean, there was people obviously from everywhere there, but it was the best of the best, and there was a ton of great horses, and it was super fun to watch.
Yes, absolutely. We are bringing our guest is in the world's top for the world standings, number 14 as of right now. But I kind of wanted something that I cared about this week was Latricia Duke being number 2 in the world standings. And I gotta say, like last year at the end of the season when she still technically had a shot and she made that post about loading him up vanilla wafer because I
Yeah.
don't want to butcher his
DM high roller.
yeah, DM high roller. Loading him up and taking him home because he was hurt and she wasn't gonna run him. I ugly cried.
I
I
know.
mean, ugly cried. I even cried when I was telling these guys about it. So now for it to come, like, if you don't believe in good karma, I mean, this was good karma for her to be number 2 in the world now on his son. What's the I don't know what the mare is that he's crossed on, but
It's
still
it's
awesome.
it's a full sibling
oh, it is
he's a
thing.
full
Okay,
brother.
we'll see.
to DM high roller.
Okay. And just
Yeah.
like I'm not rodeoing, and now she's number 2 in the world standing. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's a chunk of money one.
Yeah, watching him at Houston was insane. Like he was so
Just
perfect
made me so happy.
every single run. Yeah.
That just talks about the level of horsemanship too with her, and her program is
Oh,
pretty
Yes.
phenomenal.
Yeah, and her
Yes.
story's pretty great, and having him, and he's a great head horse too, and but her taking him, and I'm thinking we're gonna see her in Vegas.
me too.
Yeah,
Like,
I think there'll be a lot of tears for that one too. That's pretty awesome.
because I mean, she really. Oh, I guess it took 125 last year. I mean, she got
got a lot.
67 or 8
Yeah,
one. So
and I think he'll do pretty good in the Northwest.
me too.
So I
And
think
she's like, the year before when she had to win at Pendleton and she made that run
I
at
know.
Pendleton, I also maybe cried. Apparently, I don't even. I'm not. It's not like we're friends, but yes, I recognized how tough that was.
no, for sure. And I feel like the way Carlos looks, it looks like he would be good at penalty.
Yeah. So here we go. Yeah. Yes.
So yeah, no, that it's gonna just be a horse race all year. I feel like with the top 25 barrel racers in the world, even more.
Wow. Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yes. Yeah.
it's just gonna be good to watch.
And it's just barely getting started. So
Yeah, it's impressive. The other thing that I have going this week is I have 2 clinics scheduled. I have one June 6th in Homedale, which is currently full, but I had a really awesome opportunity that Royal Flush Stables reached out to me to have a clinic in Joseph, Oregon. It's actually a 2-day clinic, which I've done 2-day clinics before, but not 2 days with the same people. It's usually like a green horse and then barrel horse. So yeah, this will be something that'll be interesting, and I'm excited about that. So
Yeah.
that will be good.
so
And
it's fun
that's
to go
when-
into the
August 28th and 29th.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. And Joseph in the summertime is where you want to be because it's way too hot here to want to be here.
Absolutely. And
yeah.
I mean, summertime in Joseph is pretty hard to beat. So-
yeah. I mean, obviously we're biased because that's where we grew up.
Not really. I've been a lot of places.
That's true. That is true. Yeah.
Yes.
If I could just live in 3 places, like here in the spring and fall,
Yes.
Arizona in the winter, Joseph in the summer, that would be like,
Me too. Eventually.
Yep.
yeah,
That's what I need in my life.
yeah.
That's
Yes.
Joseph is pretty awesome. Joseph specifically is awesome.
Yes.
Not the other place.
But other than that, yeah, I am, as we've talked about many times on this podcast, already a very average CrossFitter, but I am signed
He's
up
not.
for a competition.
Above averages, I
And
would say.
no, yeah, barely. And I'm yesterday I was doing a workout that had to be videoed, and I'm I'm getting over a cold, and I do the whole thing, not do very good of a job, and I'm coughing up a lung. I'm like, oh, I'm not doing that again. Well, basically the whole video I wasn't in frame, so it's not gonna work anyway. So luckily for me, I get to do it again.
So
And I only
practice.
have like 4 more days to do all these workouts and stuff, but it's gonna be great. And and then this weekend, Megan and I have the all girls rodeo.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah.
teal. Yeah.
And Teal and my mom and Marka and Royce are going to it. And Ricky.
Perfect.
It's gonna be we haven't talked Abby into coming with us yet.
Not quite an all girls rodeo or yet.
She
I
just
hate pole bending. I hate the goats.
I didn't sign up for either of those events. And Jerry
I
and
am
Coyle-
signed up for both.
Well, you're actually good at those things. There's too many obstacles in the polls, and for being like somewhat of an athletic human, I am so unathletic getting off a go horse. Like I will fall 9 times out of 10.
I've never watched, but maybe we should enter you. Maybe
No,
yeah, maybe we should.
We
Also,
shouldn't.
I mean, when you're knocking on the door of 40, I don't understand why we tie goats. Like,
Oh, and honestly, I'm knocking on the door of 30. I don't know why I do it, except just to like beat the younger girls and like show dominance. I don't know.
I mean, I get it. It's still very impressive.
See, I
It's
wouldn't be
those
beating
girls that are
anyone. It would
still
just be
tying fast.
a laughing
Yes.
stop. Like it would just be like an entertainment video. Like it would be like the same as like when the bronc rider jumped off the back and got ran over by the pickup horse.
See,
Like it's,
I highly doubt that though. But I will say we were at the high school rodeo social hour this weekend, and I was talking about one of the biggest fights Tex and I had when I was pregnant. We didn't know if we were having a boy or a girl. And I'm like, if it's a girl, I don't care if she ever ties goats or runs bulls. Like, it's stupid. Like, what are you gonna? Sorry,
I
it's
am
not
gonna
stupid.
elbow you in the face.
But in Texas, like, are you kidding me? There's a lot of girls that go to college. They're huge athletes because of those events. I'm just saying.
I'm
Like,
just saying.
until
You know-
it becomes a professional event, I'm
The-
just not quite.
I'm not
Go
gonna
ahead, shame me.
I'm not gonna argue with you about the pole bending. I think it's good for horses to pole bend.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
it's really good
And
for
it's good
them.
to have another event.
But goat tying, I mean, also shame me on here. I'd much rather tie a goat than be a breakaway rower.
Wow, we're just gonna get everything.
No, and I don't mean like we might have to cut that.
I kind of thought it was awesome. Just keep going.
I just think no shame on the breakaway rovers. I don't want to be one. Okay, I think it's great. I'm gonna rope this weekend, but I prefer to tie a goat.
I did enter the breakaway roping.
And-
I did not enter the goat tying.
I entered both. I haven't roped a calf in I don't know how long. I'm more of a team roper these days, but I will say, I was never the, like slap yourself in the face goat tire, get hyped up, but it is a pretty fun event.
Oh yeah, I can see the adrenaline. Absolutely. And obviously in the breakaway roping, it's an adrenaline because it's so fast. So yes.
I never got adrenaline. I just got like scared when I goat tied because I was like, I'm gonna fall. It's probably why I sucked.
I have fallen quite a few times in my career.
Well, I'm not gonna lie,
Correct.
like I have a fake tooth in the front. Yeah. And you do too.
Turns out all three of
And,
us do.
yeah, and I know that I have a tendency to lead with my face. So
Yeah.
I will say Katie Davis was my rodeo coach. Not sure if that's like aging us, but she really wanted me to tie goats for more points. And I actually never fell because I never went fast enough. I
I'm
don't
not-
understand why we're getting off of a movie.
I'm like,
course.
can we roll the VHS tapes and I can see what's going on?
Because Katie was my coach, okay? So like, yeah, we're evening out the playing field.
Yeah.
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 Mhm.
That's
VHS. We totally had discs then.
Oh,
yeah,
sorry, the
we
disc.
were running CDs by that point. Okay.
Exactly. We were pirating music at that point.
Yeah, what was
Giving
that?
your parents' computers viruses at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's yes. Mhm.
LimeWire back in the
Yeah.
day when you would download the songs and it would take, you had to dial up the internet. I'm
So sorry.
Oh
really
yeah.
aging myself here, and you just
My fake ID was like legit because it was when inkjet printers first came out. So I could change the date.
Oh, that's us. My fake ID was Marcus. Hey, Marcus.
Mine was my sister's, and it was her actual ID.
Yeah.
So it like
That's what
scanned and everything, which
too.
is you know.
The worst thing about it is I had Marcus ID for I don't know, a few years. Don't know her birthday.
Wow, and you never got
I
caught.
did remember it then.
Oh, but
But it
now
was just
there was
weird.
not enough room.
No,
We
no.
had to move on.
Apparently.
We had to move it.
The other day I was like,
Uh-huh.
I wonder when Marcus' birthday is. I'm like, that's something I
know
probably
that.
should know.
I think that's Facebook's fault now because you're just like it'll just tell me.
Yeah, there's
I
so
don't
many
know.
things that are like that. I hate
Yeah.
to be, I'm not like, I don't like AI that much. I mean, I've used it for some things, specifically trying to get this podcast going, but I have caught myself like with the midwifing of the puppies and the things like that, pulling my phone out and like asking Google or ChatGPT questions. And I'm like, holy shit, I could get relying on this. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I have to stop doing that because that is so true.
I have actually never done it, and it's all just because of pride. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like I won't do it. Like,
Well-
I hate the unauthenticity. I can even say that
No.
now. Yeah, I
Me
hate
too.
that.
But like
Yeah.
when I was,
But I get it. It's
yeah.
I've seen the things. It just sucks you right in.
It does. It's so hard because it's so much easier. But then, yeah, all that to say, I don't want to be the person that does that, but that does make
I
this stuff
know.
leave your
I
brain so much
know.
easier.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I can still remember my 2 phone numbers from growing up, and I know my phone number because I've had it for 25 years in Texas, but
Oh,
Yeah,
I
nobody
still
else's.
know. I know like all of my immediate family because it's been the same number since we got cell phones.
yes.
Yeah.
And I know Jerry's, and then I know like my old home phone number, my
Same.
grandpa's phone number, a couple friends.
Oh,
from
I
high
remember
school.
my grandma and grandpa's phone number as well.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I
I
still
have
got it.
3. I have 3 old school numbers.
I got
that-
quite a few, which is
Mhm.
maybe I should delete those and like out of my brain, and so I can make room for like
For the
everyday
new
things.
things.
Yeah.
'Cause I am pretty bad about forgetting a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I struggle with that as well. But
As we would always, because that's what we called this, but we're circling back. with all the trash talk about the goat tying, pole bending, and I'm sorry, breakaway ropers, because we do want to have some of you on the podcast. We will be at the All Girls this weekend, and then if Ashley Lawson's arena is dry, probably be there on Sunday for the jackpot.
Yeah.
And then Jordan heads down to California. He might get on at Red Bluff, might not, just depending on how his shoulder feels. And then he'll be doing the Flying U rodeo school with everybody. Cade will be there, Ruger, Roscoe, Tyler. They'll have a blast. And then Clovis, all those next week. So there'll be a lot more to chat about.
Busy.
Yeah.
I would guess that if he can get on at Red Bluff, he will, because he's kind of like their king.
Yeah.
I mean, we should really flash the picture. I'm picking on him about that because it's a fantastic picture, but he is Red Bluff's king.
Yeah. Well, Reading and Red Bluff.
Yeah,
came
Reading.
out.
The picture that they used of him, was it on, didn't they use like now I'm blanking on this, but didn't they use like an old like barrel racing or something picture of him from junior rodeo?
Goat tying.
Goat
But that
tying.
was at the NFR. Speaking of the goat tying.
Yeah.
You know what the NFR at the Cinch booth, or no, it's at the National High School Finals Rodeo booth. Sorry, but they did have a big, all the NFR qualifiers. There's a picture of all of them when they were at the high
And
school.
that's what they used.
Jordan made it in every single event except the bronc riding to the high school finals at some point, and they used a picture of him goat tying.
I actually really like that. And if
I
I
do
ever
too.
see that, I will get my picture taken.
He prides himself on his goat tying abilities too. He's proud of all of it.
I
so
know.
it
I know.
Doesn't affect him.
I know. I do really love that. Oh yeah. What was the interview where I don't remember who was interviewing him at the NFR, and they're like, "What is the wrong question about his accolades?" And I'm like, you won the circuit finals all around. He's like, "Are you kidding me
Yeah.
right now?" Like I was gonna get shamed. I'm like, I was just guessing. I didn't know. Yeah.
Him and actually Stephen Peebles.
Yeah.
I think it was Stephen Peebles won money in the team roping, and he was a circuit all around
Yes.
champ.
Yeah, and I missed that.
Yeah, I can't believe you would
How
do
dare
that.
Yeah, I was wrong.
Yeah,
So,
it was.
yes.
Okay, so here shortly we will have our guest, and make sure to not fast forward through this part of the podcast just to get to Kathy. I'm here with Abby Sutphin and Megan Cobb, and this is our podcast. I first want to just say thank you so much for coming on. You have been so busy and making time for this. We're so excited to have you on. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. I appreciate I'm always happy to talk about my horses. I could talk for hours about my horses. So
So can we? That's why
Yeah.
we started doing this. So we're like, and
Exactly.
we talked about having you on last week, and like I told you, I was like, we used Cade Bruno as like our
that's
because we've known him forever, because with this new software we're like, if we mess up with Cade, that's okay. But we don't
okay.
want to
Yeah.
mess up.
That's what's important.
Yeah.
Cade is not Cade is very important.
Yeah.
right.
We knew he would understand.
And then we just gave you the week to, go win the Calgary qualifier.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, that's right. Yes, now we have more to talk about. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well, Kathy, can you lots of people, I always love when I hear podcasts because I want to actually know where people start. I mean, we're going to talk about all the awesome things that you've done and are doing, but did you start out? Like, where did you grow up being on horses? Like, how did this all come about?
I mean, we, had a pony named Star. I think everybody had a pony named Star. And so had that, and then graduated to something else. We did a lot of gymkhana when we were little. That's where we started. And then,
Okay.
I had a really nice little cute grade buckskin horse that really did a lot for me with gaming and taught me confidence. And I'm sure not really good horsemanship skills, but he was pretty cool at what he did. And so that was really fun. And I only did a little bit of college rodeo because he really wasn't that fast. And then I was busy trying to, study and get into vet school and do all that. And so then I didn't have a horse for quite a while during all that time. And then got out of vet school and then wanted to, do some horse stuff. And I think my family had a stallion, and I had gotten a mare from the WSU racetrack program that they had, that she'd had was donated to the hospital for research purposes, for like track studies, like they were assessing the forces on horses' legs. So that's what they used her for. And anyway, I ended up with her, and then bred her, and then that was 100 years ago. So then it just started from there. Then the breeding program just started from there. So
Go ahead.
When you started deciding you wanted to go to vet school, was it always reproduction, or did you want to do more sports medicine, or how did that come about?
Yeah, that's funny. I mean, I went to school because I loved animals, but I liked school and I liked medicine too, but I really mostly just loved animals. So, I then I really thought I wanted to be an equine surgeon because Dr. Barry Grant was at WSU, and he was such a great mentor of mine. He helped me learn a lot of things about galloping the horses on the racetrack, and he was just he is a great person. And so I wanted to be like him, but that when I graduated I didn't really get the internship I wanted, and so I just kind of actually went up to Colville and started my own little rural mobile practice, which I would not recommend doing, but that's what I did.
So large animal in general, or just equine when you were mobile?
It was rural, so I just did
Okay.
a mixed practice, and it was a lot of small animal, really. And then I
Okay.
just did, just did my own horse stuff. And then in 2005, I had a pretty nice mare, and so I wanted to get into embryo transfer, but we
Yes.
didn't learn about that when I went to school. Okay. And so I had to kind of relearn how to do that. And so that was, so Izzy, KG, just as we expected, she was the very first embryo that I got.
Wow, that's pretty impressive that it was that mare that was the first one that you got.
Yeah.
Because she's pretty special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Izzy was the first embryo that you had, and then how old was she when you started pulling embryos out of her?
She was born in 2007, and her first embryo babies born were in 2014. So she would have been, I think I tried when she was 5, but I don't think that embryo survived. And so didn't get one. And then when she was 6, pulled some embryos. I think we got 3 that year that were born in 2014. So those were
Okay.
the first. And now this year she had her 30th baby, and she has 2 more to go this year. I
Oh,
just think that's
wow.
amazing. I know.
Oh,
It's so
that
crazy.
That
is
is
amazing.
Amazing.
And
Yeah.
obviously she's a producer, so I
Yes.
mean, all of those babies have, I mean, a lot of them have went on to be winners, and that's
Yeah.
that's quite the accomplishment for her. Not only does she,
Yeah, it's
go
a
to the
step
NFR with
Yeah.
me in 2017. I guess, can you tell us a little bit more about that year with her?
Yeah, so 2017, so actually 2016 set us up pretty good to be able to get into the building rodeos. And I mean, I just always remember, I mean, of course, every year my goal is to go to the NFR, right? I've accomplished it once in 20 some years, but whatever.
It's a dream.
And so it's hard. And you'd see these girls, of course, back then that wasn't near as much as money as it is now, but they'd have 40, 50, 60,000, and I'm like, how do you ever win that much money, right? And so in 2016, we had a really pretty good year, and it not just Izzy, but her half sister Ruby, who's by Blaze and Jetalina out of Izzy's dam. Their dam is Do It for Bo.
Yes.
And so that I ran to, that she was the one that she helped fill my permit way back in 2006. And anyway, so 2016, I think I had like 34,001 or something. And I was like, wow, that's so cool. And I barely got into Houston that year. And then of course, Fort Worth wasn't limited like it is now. San Antonio was, but I was going to get into that. And then, 2017 come around, and they just, had such an amazing year. It just, and there has
Yeah.
a lot of luck that has to go into it. Like you can't trip or fall down during the finals of some big rodeo, like what happened to us at San Antonio this year. There has to be a lot of luck to it. And then, have your best run when the most money counts. And so that year, Izzy got second at San Antonio and at Fort Worth. And I had gone to Fort Worth for several years before that. I mean, at least 3 or 4, and never won a dime, never done anything. And then that year we ended up second, and I think we won like 14,000. And then she won second at San Antonio, which was awesome. And then I ran Ruby at Houston because Ruby was kind of the outdoor horse, and Houston is like a big outdoor rodeo. It's just indoors, So she got second at Houston. I mean, so come
Huge.
April 1st, I had like $80,000 won.
Yes.
And so I figured at that point it would take 150,000, which is what it takes now practically to go to the NFR. But, we had that one, and we could have stopped rodeoing at that time. And I didn't go that much as much in the summer just because we have that much one, and went home for breeding season, and then went to some rodeos, and they still both did really well and made it to the NFL for the first time. It was so exciting.
So as I have a bunch of questions for you, but we won't
Sure.
keep you all day. But I do. So you said that your goal is to make the NFR every year. So with all the babies that you raise and train and run, you go to the fraternities and stuff like that. But your end goal with those colts or mares or whatever is the NFR.
Yeah, that is I do love rodeo. I mean, I love the fraternities and derbies and stuff, but because I like the process of training the young ones and going from they can't even trot a circle to be able to run 16s, I just think that's so cool. And so yes, that's always my goal. But and I like rodeo. And plus, when Izzy and Ruby finished fraternity year, the derbies weren't that good, and they didn't have these
Yeah.
big open races like the extreme or the slot races. There was very little of that. Like, really, the Tim Corfield slot race was kind of the only one, and then Glacier Chaser had a slot race, and then I mean, at least in our world,
Yes,
in
in
the
our
Northwest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our region.
Yeah, there
Yes.
weren't as many slot races and big races. So you had to go to rodeo if you wanted to keep going, right? So so we went and tried, and rodeo's hard, and different ground, different setup, and all the chaos. And so when you succeed, I feel like it's really rewarding. Not that fraternity isn't hard, because that's hard too, but in a different
It's a
way.
different beast. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is
Yes.
your
Yeah.
favorite rodeo?
Honestly, my favorite rodeo is San Antonio. I don't
Okay.
know, because Izzy always did so good there, but we've also fallen down there. She fell down, Shoei fell down. I mean, it's not the ground's not stellar there, but they treat you really well. I mean,
Mhm.
and I don't know. I guess I like that one. Yeah.
I love that. I felt like this was gonna be a later question, but since we're talking about Izzy and the NFR, I was listening to a podcast and they were saying, it was actually about a musician, and he says everybody wants me to re-release this early album that was so great. He's like, I'm not that person. I'm not that person anymore. I've evolved from that. And that is something that I really thought about, even with myself in every aspect, but even my horses. And even though you've made the NFR and made all these multiple great horses, but what do you think the difference is that Izzy did for you, besides obviously getting into all the big rodeos and being at the NFR for experience? Is there something you're doing different now with Shoei than maybe you did with Izzy because of that? Does
Oh,
that
I
make sense?
think I certainly hope, and I know I'm a better rider trainer than I was back then. Like I didn't know, I didn't know anything. I mean, I even had to retrain her. Like, so we had at our circuit finals when it was at Yakima, I'm not
Mhm.
quite sure what year it was, maybe 15, maybe 15. I don't know. Anyway, one of those years. And you know how Izzy could blow off a barrel and still be really fast. Well,
I was going to bring that
Yakima's
up.
yeah, Yakima's are pretty small. And she blew off the third barrel, and I'm like, no big deal, keep running. And then all of a sudden, and you know how they have rakers? Those
Oh gosh.
girls would rake. And
Yeah.
so the girl had her back to me and she was raking, and all of a sudden Izzy just made the decision to go on the other side of the barrel. And I thought I was going to hit that woman. It scared me so bad. And I'm yelling, get out of the way. And at the last minute, she sucked up against the wall, and we ran on by her. And it was like, I was just like, oh my God, I drove home the whole way just shaking, thinking I could have really hurt that person. I've got to fix this problem. And so then I spent like the next 6 months screwing her up completely because I didn't know what I was doing and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so yes, I learned a lot about horsemanship and training and retraining and fixing problems. And so with every horse, I think I'm not going to make those same stupid mistakes that I have, that I'm making and training. And so I think I'm doing a better job with it now.
I would say you're doing
So,
a great job.
but
Yeah.
she taught me how to win and how to, to be fast. And, so
So
she taught me a
fast.
lot. Yeah, she was
Yeah.
really fast. She just kept, and also she taught me that forward motion, no matter what, is still more important than, stopping and turning or
Okay.
having a perfect pattern.
I love that you just said that. Sorry, I'm going to take this over. It sounds like I'm just fangirling you a little bit, but I give lessons to like a lot of different I mean, from like kids to a little bit older. And I've used you multiple times as a compliment where I'm like, you guys, it's a timed event. You need to get run in a hole. And yes, Izzy could be, I watched her run multiple 16s where she came off the third barrel
Yeah.
because she was running so hard.
Yeah.
Even Shoei is fantastic, but like he's so awesome because he runs all the way in the hole and then comes back. It's not that he's setting up 2 strides before to turn the
Yeah.
barrel. And I appreciate that about him. So I have literally broke down your videos and shown the spots that he has ran into because of forward motion. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
no, I love that.
I think honestly, I didn't feel like he was very fast. Like I thought he had kind of a different style, and I'm not smart enough to know if I need to change it, and I don't know how. So most of the time I'm just like, well, let's just do this. They seem to like it, and hopefully I don't have to fix it later. Like he would get into the barrel and his little hiney would kind of come around, and I thought, well, too, maybe I won't hit as many barrels because Tillman is awesome too, but he really buries up and turns around a barrel, and
Gets
a lot of
into
times we've hit a lot of barrels leaving it, and that's so frustrating. I hate to hit barrels, and so I thought, well, maybe this is going to be a good style, and turns out it is, but it didn't feel fast because even now he really doesn't feel that fast. Like Izzy felt like a speedboat taking off when you would run
Yeah.
to the first barrel, and
Yes.
he just has, I feel like, the same speed going in, coming around, going to the next one. It's just so smooth and continuous, and so consistent. Gosh, that's consistency is so nice.
Oh
you
my
know.
goodness. I honestly feel like he has never stubbed his toe from when you started your fraternity year to your derby year. And then all of a sudden you're cracking him out in the perf at Denver. And here he is. Like I literally told these guys, we were in Arizona and we were watching, maybe it wasn't Denver, but it was maybe a stand. Anyway.
I think it was San Antonio.
And I literally looked up and I'm like, Kathy Grimes is going to the NFR this year.
Yeah.
I mean, he just took to it. Don't you feel like he did?
Yeah, I mean, I was super nervous because I didn't know what he was going to do because he can spook at the weirdest things. And the biggest problem was the alleyways. Like when people are all the chaos in an alleyway, especially indoors like that, when there's people running around and doing whatever. And he at Denver, he was kind of spooked at some things. And we had an incident at Jackson in a perf, and I could see the camera guy, down there. They have the long alleys, blind first barrel. Well, they have the cameraman. He's standing down there, like in the alleyway. Yes, he's up against the wall, but he's in the alleyway pointing the camera at you. And then as you go by, he flips his body around to get you going to the first barrel. And I saw that happening, and I thought, yeah, I don't know what Joey's going to think about that because he'll sometimes spook. And so I should have not let him get rolling. There was plenty of room between the eye and the mouth of the alleyway there that I could have like snuck him up there a little bit farther and then let him take off. Because when that guy made that move, he kind of jumped to the right, and then we were way high at the first barrel. I thought we were going to turn on the wrong side of the first barrel. That's how high we were. But no, he went around it, but we were really slow. And I'm like, oh my God,
So that's with all that, when you have these young horses and you are taking them from fraternity or derbies to the rodeos, do you just start taking them and you're like, we're just going to figure it out? Or do you have kind of a plan? Like, you know what I mean? An idea of what you want them to be doing before you get to the rodeos?
No, because I don't know how you can go to a rodeo without going to a rodeo, right?
That's what I
Although,
said too.
yeah, I mean, or how to prepare for that, other than obviously fraternities are mostly indoors. And so then how many outdoor rodeos or how many outdoor races like do you run out to kind of at least, I feel like outdoor, there's so many other things to look at. Indoor, it's still enclosed. Yes, you have stands, but I don't feel like it's the same as an outdoor thing. So I hadn't gotten to very many outdoor, we just don't have very many outdoor races. And your fraternity year, there's so much money. You don't want to go to a kind of crummy outdoor barrel race that the ground might not be good and get them hurt. Right. So we didn't go to much outdoors. And so I thought, well, at least these winter rodeos, they're indoors. So that's something he's comfortable with, about the same size pattern. And it'll just be the crowd. And I was just stupid nervous, which probably made him nervous. And he locked on pretty good. But I had to like really just focus on my point and try to help him get to his spot. And so, yeah, I don't know, he took to it. So.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you've been home with the exception of Redmond since February, haven't you?
After San Antonio. So I got home like March 2nd and then was going to go to Monroe Rodeo, but the pass was closed. And I was not going to drive 3 hours around. Let's change Slack to the next day, which doesn't help anybody unless maybe you live there. I don't know. Anyway, whatever. It's fine.
It's okay.
So I
I'm
missed
I'm
that.
not George anymore. So I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, it was,
So,
yeah.
so where do you actually, because I got ahead of myself because we were talking about rodeo, I kind of wanted to ask you a few more things about breeding.
Yeah.
Speaking of Tillman and your
Yes.
studs, so when you're running them and breeding them, like what are the challenges there? And then kind of how long do you see their careers before you just decide to breed them? Like, I don't know, what does that look like?
So I enjoy running them. And Tillman is great. Him and Shoei are best buds. They're the biggest
Are they?
dorks, just like lick each other's boogers. I mean, they're great. You can tie him together. Occasionally Tillman will mount him, but just for fun, I mean, it's no
Yeah,
big
That's
deal.
fine. Nobody
Yeah.
minds.
So,
It's fine.
and that's like if I'm leading him and I let Tillman kind of get behind Shoei, then he's like, oh, okay, let's just take advantage of this. But I mean, he doesn't even know what he's doing. So, but they're really great together. So I can take them, they can stand next to each other, and so it's great. The other stud, Phoenix, like he's very steady, and you cannot do that. Like he gets grumpy and so I can't haul a whole bunch of studs with him. That's why I've been letting my assistant ride him, because then she can take him to places. I mean, obviously when you go to a rodeo, you can only run one horse anyway. And so but Tillman is super easy. He is, we were at Canby, and you know how the parking is terrible. And, they tell you to park next to the line and tie on the right. So what do the team ropers do? They park and they tie on the left side. So I look out my window and there's this horse with their butt, like
Oh gosh.
standing, like Tillman's butt and their butt. They're just like right together. And I was like, oh my God. And I go out there and I look, and it's a gilding, but like Tillman doesn't care, right? Like,
No,
Izzy
that's
wouldn't
awesome.
even tolerated that. She didn't like other horses around her. She was a dominant mare. And so he doesn't care. He's really great. So he makes it easy to go. And he had a a bruise in his hock that we finally found this fall. So that's why he's been off all this
Okay.
time. Although I do think Shoei kind of is a little more consistent in those smaller pens. Tillman kind of likes the big outdoor pens to run in. And so I'm hoping that he will be back for our summer rodeos, and that I'll have the
Mhm.
two of them, and that would
That'd
be
be
great.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, what does your, and I will circle back again, I'm sure, because that's just what we do, but what does your summer look like? And number one, do you enter yourself? And how do you choose the rodeos that you want to go to?
So I'm a control freak. So I enter myself. And of course, I always had. And whatever mistakes I make, I guess I just make. And it's hard now because everything changes. Like, it doesn't matter what I knew of a rodeo 5 years ago. It's going to be totally different. You really got to read the ground rules and try to look and see things every year. Even our circuit rodeos, they can be different. Like, and then like Napa, how they changed it to two, everybody goes in slack, then you got to come back for one more.
Yeah.
And then if you make the short go, it's like, yeah, let's do that when it's $7 a gallon fuel. But anyway, so I enter myself, and I just kind of stay home from now until about June 8th or 9th or whatever. And then I'm done. And then I'm going to get back to barrel racing. And that's just, and then whatever, I'll just try to go to, the bigger ones that I can. And now I get to, go to Calgary and
So
the
excited.
others. Yeah. So it'll be fun.
That was something that I kind of wondered before before I knew exactly what you had decided, was business wise. I felt like there was two sides. You live close to Barrel Days, Valley
Mhm.
Girls Barrel Days.
Mhm.
There's a lot of money to be won. Let's be real.
Yes.
You just
Yeah.
crushed it the week before. You could have won a lot of money there. You were close to home. You could have done your breeding.
Mhm.
It was an easier decision. Now, for later in life, as I was thinking about like you getting into Calgary, not only will make your rodeo count a lot smaller if you were to go and win Calgary, which that's what we're looking for here. More fuel, more time, not as much money, but for down the road, it did make more sense. I mean,
Yeah.
is that kind of how you
Yes.
thought about it, or you were just like,
No, well, so at first I saw that and I thought, oh gosh, I wish I could go. It would be kind of, it's like a barrel race, so real simple for,
yeah,
and but then I thought Barrel Days, I can't miss Barrel Days. So I entered Barrel Days, and I wasn't going to go to
Okay.
that thing in Salina. And plus then the fuel prices went went up and I thought, gosh, I'm glad I'm staying home. And I had a mare that was due Friday. Thankfully, she held off and hasn't foaled yet. So that worked out. But then when they said, oh, you can get into days of 47 and the
Yes.
money will count towards circuit standing or towards standings, I thought there are 3 good things to come out of
Yes.
this.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
the June qualifier, once I finally found out when that was like June 8th, whatever. It didn't really help. That was right at the end of my breeding season and right when our circuit rodeos are. It would be, I don't know. I just was like, I think I'll just try to make this work. And
Yeah.
so I
Well,
felt a lot
obviously
of
it did.
pressure
Yeah.
to make it work too. I was like, I mean, I have total faith in him, but I'm so afraid I'm going to screw it up and make us hit a barrel. Because anytime we've hit a barrel, it's because I've screwed it up, So I just felt a lot of pressure, but he's just amazing. I don't know. He's so good. Yeah. I don't
When
know.
was the point? Like, when did you have I mean, obviously you bred him. You knew like of the genetics that you thought this was going to work and it was going to be great. But was there like an aha moment when you're like, okay, he real life is special? I mean, he was the
I
top
think
4 winningest horse last year. I didn't even
I
realize that.
know.
That's
Yeah, I
insane.
know. It is amazing. I know. I
It's
mean, so when
awesome.
I went to like with Tillman the Denver qualifier, his futurity year last year, and then I wasn't gonna make it back to Buckeye to go to their futurities in time because I went to Odessa Slack, and then I thought, oh, they got those the Texas futurity. I can make that second one. I'll just run him at that, and we didn't win a dime, and so it was his first futurity, and we didn't win anything. We were at the bottom of the 1D, and I just thought, well, okay, and then we went back to Buckeye and staying in Arizona. And his first run at Buckeye, he was like 17-2. And I was like, what?
Yeah. You're like,
Wow,
well, that was good. Yeah.
that's pretty cool. And I'm like, huh. So then I think we went to the NBHA show there like next weekend or something. And he was an 0-1. And I was just blown away. I couldn't believe it. And so I thought right then, huh. And then he just kept being consistent. And that's so key. So
Yeah.
I don't know. And then when he won the Royal Crown and ran that 16, gosh, that was so fun. Like there's just nothing more fun. Like, that second go, he'd ran a 17 flat, I think the first day and won that. And then the next day I was up the very end. So all day I had to worry about it and think about it and hope I didn't screw it up. And someone had run a 1693. And I thought, oh man, that's really fast. I don't know if we can do that because we're bottom of the ground today. And then as I'm
Oh,
warming
yeah.
up, he trips and almost falls on his nose. And I'm thinking, and we're bottom of the ground. What if he does that during my run? And so I went out there. Oh, and then as we go running, I'm wearing a belt and my belt gets stuck on the horn as we're running to the
You
first
see.
barrel. I just
Yeah.
and I thought, oh, I've ruined it. This is great, dummy. And then I got the belt off and then he stayed locked on and I thought, well, that was a pretty good first barrel. I guess we'll just keep going. And then I looked up and it was a 16.92. I mean, we did just what we
Oh my
needed to do
gosh.
to win. And
Yes.
it was just so fun. Like that's, it's priceless. So
That's
yeah, it's fun.
that's amazing. And going back because he's by PC Frenchman's heyday, correct?
Yep.
So with your mares that you have, what goes into you deciding what studs to breed those mares to?
Well, a lot of times, like Izzy was always fast and like she was a turner, but not a big turner, like especially my first barrel. I had to fix that too. But so I would always kind of maybe breed her to something that had a lot of rate and turn. And then Ruby was not that she wasn't fast because she ran multiple 16s on a standard pattern too. But she was a little more turny and, so I would breed her to maybe something with a bigger speed index. That's kind of how I would choose that. But, um, I don't know why I chose Izzy over Ruby. I was going to breed Dinero to either one of those, and it just happened to work out that I bred her to Izzy, or bred him to Izzy. So, um, and then I kept him because he was a boy, right? And I usually don't keep boys, and so, but Dinero had passed, I think the fall before Shoei was born, and he was this adorable little buckskin, and he was kind of nice. And I had another Izzy filly, and my friend wanted to buy an Izzy filly, and I said, well, I could do that. I'd sell that one and keep him then. And I'm sure glad I did.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
no
just
kidding.
worked out.
Yeah.
yeah, it worked out
How
really
did you
good.
make that decision of what you sell versus what you keep, and at what age do you sell most of your babies?
So I like to even sell the embryos. I don't have to get attached to them or or say, oh,
Smart.
that's the
Yeah.
perfect color and sex that I wanted, But it just like because she's so fertile and I get so many, I gotta sell some because I can't ride all these. I'm old and so I can't do that. And so if someone wants one, then I will often, unless I've really just decided. Like I thought SR Industry Titan and Izzy would be an amazing cross because he was
Yeah.
so turny. And so I finally got a baby last year and it was a boy. But now I'm kind of like, boys aren't that bad.
Yeah.
So of course I was going to keep him no matter what. And so I just kind of see what maybe will sell and decide if I can part with it and go like it that way.
Yeah. And how do you make a selection like I see you just had a Goodbye Lane Izzy
Yeah.
baby, which that's
Yeah.
very exciting.
Yes.
I think a lot of people are big fans of the Goodbye Lane, but
Yes.
how do you, when it comes down to it, narrow down your stud picks?
So I don't choose by incentives. I can tell you that much, which is not always the case for most people. I just choose by what
Yeah.
I think is going to be a good cross,
Yeah.
like, and it turns out that some of these are in the incentives. That's a bonus, but I definitely don't choose by that. I just want to choose something that I think is going to complement my mare's weaknesses.
Yeah.
So that's how I choose that. And I just didn't think that I never could get on the list or I mean, with the Goodbye Lane, their contracts, they don't even really open their contracts already sold out, but they, if they have extra semen available, they will send it to you. Right. And then if you get a pregnancy, you pay for the contract. And so once I learned that, I was like, well, that's a no brainer because I'm breeding Izzy to multiples anyway. So
Yeah.
if I can't get semen from him, I can choose one of my other picks that I have. So
Oh, that makes
but
sense.
most of them were like I saw them run, or I looked at their dam side because I'm so into the mare power, and so I look at the dam of the stallion, or if I competed against them and they kicked our butts, then I want to breed to that.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah,
So, actually, we both wrote down the incentives because one of the things, like when I wrote my notes, like I have Mare Powered circled 37 times because I really appreciate that. That is obviously something you care about, and speed. I wrote Mare Power, speed.
yep,
I also really appreciated in one of your interviews about when you said, yeah, this whole cornerstone, this breeding program is not something that you would recognize, but obviously you knew their ability. So we've talked about this a lot about the incentives, and even though it's been great for barrel racing as far as
Mhm.
bringing money, I agree with that. But I really have felt like it's like limiting our gene pool and maybe making people look past some horses that they
yeah,
should be breeding to. I
yeah.
mean,
I do because of course I have junior sires that I can't get them into pink or ruby or
yeah,
whatever and even the breeders challenge can be tough and so I feel frustrated with that sometimes that
yes.
people will look beyond my stallions who are bred really well or some of them have competed or they have nice babies but because they're not in pink people will just not they're not into that. And as a rider, I've appreciated the money I've won at the Pink Buckle, so I get it, and for resale value, but I still am looking for what I think is going to be a good cross on my mares. And if they don't happen to be in one of the buckles, that's okay because I still
Mhm.
appreciate a good horse. You're still going to win. Well, look at Shoei. Shoei's not in pink or ruby buckle, and look
Oh,
at
I
how
know.
much he won. And he wasn't in Breeders' Challenge. He is now, but he wasn't then either, and he still won a lot of money without going to the pink or ruby or Breeders' Challenge.
An
Yeah.
astronomical amount because
Yeah.
didn't Izzy, like she was around 460-ish for
60.
LT?
Yep.
Okay, and where is he in real life right now?
He's about, let's see, he's about 450 right now. Yeah.
Okay, and that's even without the pink or ruby. I mean, Izzy
Yeah.
obviously she didn't have those things
Yeah.
either, right? But
Yeah.
that's
Right.
impressive. Do you think with
Yes.
the incentives, from a veterinarian, could we be like hindering? Because I don't know if you've seen on Facebook all the wars lately about whether you inject your horse or you
Oh.
inject everything or you don't do it. Or you like, do you think maybe by limiting the gene pool, we could be hurting maybe the breeding some soundness out of our horses
Yeah.
as well?
I mean, I suppose, I mean, I look at that and I think, oh, we're limiting it. But then I think, well, there still are 50 studs. And, people
Yes.
are still just breeding like Dash to Fame. Everyone's breeding to Dash to Fame, when they could. And now Goodbye Lane and Blazing Jetalina and all those old school. And so I don't know if I mean, I don't know about that. I'm not smart enough to know
Okay.
the answer to that. But I
I
feel
know that
like,
you are, but
I just feel like we are, like you say, we're missing out on some of these junior sires that, eventually, I guess, as the semen runs out or people, I mean, I personally don't want to do ICSI. It's fine for others, but I don't want to do ICSI because I can't do any part of that. I just do my embryo transfer. I can do every aspect of that. And I'm a control
Mhm.
freak, as I said, so I just want to do that. But I also feel like it's kind of invasive and I'm not going to put my mare through that process. So I just do, either frozen or cooled and stick with those studs too. There's lots of nice ones that are still out there that we can do with that you don't have to do with C. So
And along those lines of ICSI being a little bit more invasive,
mhm.
when you are running a mare, did you do embryo? Did you pull embryos on Izzy when you were running her? And
Yes.
I've heard both ways, like, oh, it doesn't matter, it doesn't affect them, not a big
Mhm.
deal. And then I've heard, oh, it's super hard on them,
Yeah.
it took the run out of my mare, or it changed her, or whatever.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
So my experiences were that, and plus I can do it all. So I can ultrasound, I can even ultrasound on the road if I needed to, but I still didn't go a whole lot. But remember when we had brand finals at the track way back over Memorial
Yeah.
Day weekend? So I would always go to that. And so the one year, Izzy, I had bred her. And so she had an embryo in her and she ran 316 316s and then the next day was like a 17-0. She ran 4 days in a row with this embryo in her and then flushed it and it stuck and everything worked. So personally, with my mares, I never felt like it affected or changed them at all. But everyone's an individual, just like with us and our medical things. Certain things bother one person more than another. So I've tried to understand that if they feel it changes their mare, then maybe they don't want to do it during that time while they're running or give their mare 3 weeks to a month off. If you have to decide what your priority is, right? Like for me, I just thought the priority was breeding and and I'm glad that I have kept that going, although I have 36 horses here and I only really have one I can compete on right now. But, that's because a lot of them are babies or yearlings and 2-year-olds and, the whole gamut. But if I didn't do that, I wouldn't keep having babies to come up, because I lost both Izzy and Ruby to competition in 2021 and I didn't have a tweener horse. Like Ruby was supposed to be that, but then she had a thing and she couldn't run anymore. And so I didn't have a rodeo horse. So that was 21. And then I didn't get Tillman's first runs were 24 in rodeo. No, 23. I guess I think I made circuit finals in 23 on him. So it took another couple of years before I had one that I could take to rodeos and get back to doing some stuff. And so that was hard. But and then if I didn't keep having something every year, then I won't be able to keep going. So
Yeah.
For sure.
Yes.
so that's a priority for me. My breeding is a priority. So also
Yeah.
like we would have qualified to go to Austin and this year Shoei would have qualified to go to Austin. And I just thought I didn't get into Houston. I cannot sit there for 2 weeks. I need to come home and get to breeding, and Izzy already has a little bun in the oven that I actually sold that embryo for. And so that's great. I don't, like I'm glad I did that instead of, and then when I saw how much people were winning at Austin, I don't know if we could have or not, but I just kind of thought, gosh, maybe I made a mistake. And I didn't. I mean, I feel like, like I say, the breeding is important and she's 19. I don't know how many more breeding seasons
Yes.
I'll have. So it's really important to get as many as I can.
Yeah.
100%. A couple more questions and then we'll let you go. But
Okay.
I do want to ask, so you train all your own horses, but do you have somebody that starts your colts?
Yeah, so I do because not good at that, and I'm scared, and I'm too old to fall off. So I do have a colt starter, and try to do that as a 2-year-old. Get them started for like 60, 90 days, whatever it takes to where I'm not going to get bucked off, and then I just go from there. But since I am gone off, to the rodeos and whatnot, or in the winter time, I really only get like seems like 4 to 5 months of training on them. That's why I don't usually have a 4-year-old futurity horse, because I just can't seem to get my poop in a group. So yeah.
I get that for sure. Do you
Yeah.
have any?
I was thinking, I mean, we're obviously like crushing on Shoei because he's
Yeah.
amazing. But I mean, you've had such a long line of great horses. You really truthfully have. And your mare power is so impressive. But also, I mean, how fun is it to see other people win on your horses?
It
I
is.
feel like that's amazing.
Yeah,
Yes.
it is fun. I didn't know that I would enjoy it that much, but I really like it when someone says, "Gosh, it's this nicest, fastest horse I've ever ridden." I think that's really
Aw.
cool, and I appreciate that. And
Yes.
so I'm always, I mean, I still want to beat them, but I'm glad that they have
Right. Yeah.
success too.
Like I still want to win, but
I'm very
yeah.
competitive.
Yeah.
So-
But I mean, you've had a lot of fast horses. I was just talking to these guys about KG Shock and Awe
yes.
with Sky Miller, and that was
Yeah.
that's a Field of Sting. Is that correct?
Yes, that's a Field of
Yeah.
Steam. Mhm.
She absolutely crushed the arena record at my barrel races, and I'm not just saying crushed, but I mean that was against the best horses. Even Jesse Telford's whip horse, Miss
Oh, yeah.
Lindsay Schultz, like I mean, and there's been multiple horses like that I really
Yeah.
thought that made us all stand up. Hey, that's a KG horse. So
Yeah.
obviously you have a good eye for that. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Phil the Sting competed against him, and he was really cool. And of course,
Yeah.
his dam it's like a no-brainer, right? So
Yeah, yes.
and he was a really nice stallion on the rodeo road too. Like
Okay.
he just had the whole package, I thought. So yeah, bred to him, and and he let's see, no, he High Point then in 70. Anyway, he was in all the incentives, but again, that wasn't why. I just thought he was a really nice stallion on the road,
Yeah.
and what he accomplished, and his his dam, and just it all seemed like it's a no-brainer. Yeah.
Do you have any full siblings to Shoei, or do you not do that? Do you not usually try to?
I do, but it's funny because it takes so long to, you think, oh, this is a really good one. I should have been doing this all along, but
you
so
never know.
I'm trying for one this year. So we'll see how
Okay.
that comes out. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That
So
would be great.
What is
Yeah.
the fraternities, rodeos, whatever? What is the favorite win? Your most favorite win you've ever had, and why is that your favorite?
So one of my most favorite runs on Izzy was the one year at San Antonio that we just didn't make the finals, coming through the semifinals, and we had to go to the wild card. And still gives me goosebumps, because that was back in the days when last on the ground meant last on the ground. There was no this halfway through thing. It was 10th on the ground.
Yeah.
And at San Antonio, I still have that curse with Shoei, where you get your draw, then you get a reverse order, and then there's a random draw, and we're always last, except for on that reverse order, I swear. And even though they drag every 5 there, it's still, man, it's not good at the bottom. But anyway, that year it was, we had to go through the wild card, and so I waited, and then I saw the draw, and sure enough, we were last out. So I'm packed up, ready to go, because they're only taking one person from 10 in the wild card. So I'm like, there's no way on bottom of the ground that she can do this, And so we, the gal from California, I'm so bad with names. Anyway, she had run like a 13-8 or something. And like, okay, well, and so we went out there, and Izzy, she's grunting, she's giving it her all, like she always does.
Oh,
And when I look up and I see that we were 13-8 as well, and I thought, I think we just won the wild card.
So far.
And then John Guatney, he was the shoot boss, and he's like, "Get on the horse, get." He was talking about the grand whatever the victory lap horse. And I'm like, what? I just get her stopped, and I'm like, like we're out of breath, and and he's like, get on the victory lap horse. I'm like, I wasn't even sure of the numbers, right? Because it was just all a blur. And then anyway, and you're rubber banded in, and you're trying to hurry, but anyway, that was just like, so she won the wild card, and we got to go to this. I think she ended up 3rd in the finals, and just like, she just tried so hard all the time. It was so fun. And then the one on Shoei was when he when he ran that 16.9 too, just when he needed to win the
Yeah.
both goes and the average at the Royal Crown. Although,
Yeah.
the slot race and the Calgary thing this last weekend were, pretty special too. But
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
Barry, you've had a good 2 weeks.
I feel like
He
that
has.
14.9 being the
Yeah.
only 14 of the entire weekend was
I know.
that was a pretty big deal. And he really, I mean, he showed up when it counted. I felt like.
I know. Like, don't you feel that way about how Jarvis always just shows up when he needs to win? Like, he's so
Yes.
amazing.
Yes.
And not that I'm in any way comparing, but it's
Oh, I think it's
I don't
okay.
know. It's
Yeah.
so cool when your horse kind of comes through, even though like I'm a mess worried about not hitting anything. And and Jana Bean had a really fast 15.0, and I thought, gosh, I don't know if we can be 2/10 faster this run, even though my first run, we kind of got high at the first barrel. We had a few little mistakes, but I didn't know if we could fix it. So anyway, it's fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a magical ride. I'm enjoying every minute of it. So yeah,
Good.
Well, we're enjoying watching.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Thank
And we'll
you.
have to have you back on and get your new favorite wins in a couple months. But
Yeah.
my last question is, I just want to, if there's any advice you have for not just a young barrel racer, but maybe a young one, someone just trying to be in the industry at a high level, or just like any advice that you've gotten that resonated or that you would want to give to somebody.
I think that, none of this happens overnight, and it is hard work that takes a long time. So, and I have failed way more than I have won. So you just got to keep going. And that's the other thing KG stands for, is keep going, because you just got to keep going, and you're going to make mistakes and you're going to learn, and nobody's perfect. And you just keep working on your horsemanship and your training and there's so much more that people can learn. Some of it not good on the internet, but a lot of it with good reputable people, you can go and you can really see things. Before, I had to go to a clinic, or read a book, right? You couldn't just get on Facebook or learn something. So, but
Yeah.
now you can get some good tips. And so I think that makes that, maybe a little bit easier, but I just, keep going, ask questions, keep trying, and know that you got to be in it for the long haul. That's the only way you're going to get better. Nobody does it overnight. It just seems like it, but nobody does.
Yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, do you guys have anything else?
No, I've really enjoyed
Yeah,
how this
too.
honest
Thank
real this
you.
was.
Yes,
And I
Thank you so
appreciate
much
that
for
so much.
thank you for
Yeah.
coming and chatting with us.
Yeah,
Good
I
luck.
appreciate it.
Yes. Keep
All right,
kicking
thank you.
butt.
Okay,
Thank you
thanks.
so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Spears Coffee. Really bucking good.